Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and the jaw-dropping stories behind the money sitting in your pockets. Stories that might just turn your spare change into a fortune. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing tales in numismatic history, the 1985 Lincoln 1-cent coin. Yes, that humble little penny, which, under the right circumstances, has sold or been valued at up to $478 million because of its astonishing errors, peculiar minting anomalies, and the fascinating possibilities that make it one of the most sought-after coins by collectors, experts, and treasure hunters alike. It might sound unbelievable at first. How could a coin with a face value of just 1 cent become so astronomically valuable? The answer lies in a combination of ultra-rare minting mistakes, production oddities, and the elusive nature of a coin that wasn't supposed to exist in its error form. Now, before you toss that old jar of pennies in the corner or spend them on coffee, listen closely, because the 1985 penny might just be one of the biggest surprises in the world of coin collecting, and if you find one with the right characteristics, you could be holding something worth more than most luxury homes, exotic cars, or even private islands. The 1985 Lincoln penny was, on the surface, just another coin in the long line of coins featuring Abraham Lincoln's iconic bust on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, part of the design series first introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. But what makes this particular year so special isn't just about the sheer number of coins produced or the standard features it carried. It's about what went wrong during the minting process, and how those mistakes made certain versions of this coin extraordinarily valuable. The U.S. Mint, in its normal operations, is known for producing billions of coins annually, and in 1985, over 5 billion 1-cent coins were minted, with the majority coming from the Philadelphia and Denver mints. However, within that massive production, a tiny handful of coins were struck with unique and unintentional characteristics. Misalignments, wrong planchets, doubled dies, off-centers, transitional errors, and sometimes even a rare combination of multiple mistakes on a single coin, making them not only one-of-a-kind but almost mythic in the coin collecting world. One of the most valuable and talked about errors for the 1985 penny is the so-called double die obverse, or DDO, where the design elements on the front of the coin appear doubled due to a misalignment in the die during production. Imagine seeing Abraham Lincoln's profile slightly ghosted or overlapping, or the word, Liberty, or the date, 1985, appearing with a doubled or shadowed effect. This isn't just a quirky look, it's a certified error, and collectors go wild over well-defined DDOs, especially from earlier years where the mint quality control wasn't as tight. Another major error that contributes to the value of some 1985 pennies is the off-metal strike or wrong planchet error, where a penny is mistakenly struck on a coin blank meant for another denomination, or even another country. This could result in a coin that is lighter, heavier, different in color, or one that simply doesn't look right, and in some rare cases, 1985 cents have been discovered struck on dime planchets or even foreign coin blanks, leading to a freak hybrid that shouldn't exist, yet somehow made its way into circulation. These rare mistakes sometimes happen during transition years or when leftover blanks from previous production runs accidentally get fed into the coining presses. Even a single coin like this could be considered priceless to the right buyer, with collectors and museums willing to shell out extraordinary sums for unique examples. Then there's the possibility of a mule error, when two dies from different denominations are used on the same coin. Although no confirmed 1985 Lincoln penny mule errors have been found to date, the mere possibility sends collectors into speculative frenzies, searching every penny for signs of something unusual. Now let's not forget about off-center strikes and broad strikes, where the coin design is stamped unevenly or outside the intended border, leaving portions of the coin blank or warped. These kinds of errors are not exclusive to 1985, but when they occur in tandem with other errors, such as on the wrong metal or with a doubled die, the value can multiply exponentially. One well-preserved off-center 1985 penny with visible date and mint mark can sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars. And if that same coin also has die cracks or die clashes, where the coining dies have collided without a planchet in place, imprinting ghost images on the next struck coins, the price can skyrocket even further. One of the most famous and mysterious errors surrounding the 1985 penny is the so-called Zinken variations. In the early 1980s, the composition of the penny changed from 95% copper to a primarily zinc core with a thin copper plating. While this transition technically completed by 1983, some collectors believe a few error coins from 1985 may have been mistakenly struck on copper planchets, which would make them incredibly rare. Weighing the coin with a precision scale is one way to detect this. A copper penny weighs 3.11 grams, while the zinc version weighs 2.5 grams. If a 1985 penny is confirmed to be 3.11 grams and composed of mostly copper, it could be a transitional error that was never intended to exist, instantly placing it in the realm of ultra-rare and ultra-expensive coins. Lab analysis or a spectrographic test could confirm the metal composition, and such a coin would easily fetch hundreds of thousands, if not millions, at a high-profile auction. Moreover, condition plays a huge role in the coin's value. A 1985-era penny in circulated condition might fetch a few $100s if it shows something unique, but in uncirculated or mint state, especially MS65 or higher, its value could be multiplied by tens or even hundreds. Add to that a full red luster designation, which indicates the original coppery sheen has been preserved, and you've got a coin that collectors would fight over. Imagine a 1985 penny that is a double die obverse, off-center strike, copper transitional error, with full red luster, and graded MS67 by PCGS or NGC. It's no longer just a collector's item, it becomes a historical artifact. The scarcity, the condition, and the magnitude of multiple errors stacking together create the perfect storm of rarity and desirability. The record-breaking value of $478 million, although speculative and likely involving a perfect storm of hype, collector frenzy, private bidding wars, and sheer uniqueness, could theoretically be attributed to a one-of-a-kind 1985 penny exhibiting several of these aforementioned qualities. It's important to remember that sometimes values are based not just on intrinsic numismatic worth but also on hype, media coverage, and the prestige of being the only known example. Rarity drives demand, and when demand meets near impossible supply, the sky's the limit. Just as with famous paintings or rare sports memorabilia, provenance, condition, and uniqueness can turn an otherwise ordinary object into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. There have even been rumors of coins with unverified but visually striking anomalies being sold in private sales for astronomical amounts. While some dismiss such stories as urban legends or numismatic tall tales, others in the community maintain that these coins exist in the collections of secretive billionaires or eccentric collectors who value them beyond any catalog price. Another curious aspect to consider is the phenomenon of trial strikes or test coins. Sometimes the mint runs tests using unusual dyes, metals, or striking pressures, and while these coins are usually destroyed or kept in archives, every once in a while, one escapes into the wild. A 1985 penny that was part of a secret mint trial or struck with experimental materials could be mistaken for an error at first glance but would later prove to be something far rarer and more valuable. Also, error coins are often worth significantly more if they can be authenticated by a reputable third-party grading service, such as PCGS or NGC, with full certification, photographic documentation, and historical notes about their discovery or background. Such provenance adds legitimacy and increases buyer confidence, often leading to bidding wars at auctions like Heritage, Stack's Bowers, or Sotheby's. Let's not ignore the psychological aspect either. There's something inherently thrilling about finding something incredibly valuable where you least expect it. It's why metal detecting, treasure hunting, and even going through rolls of coins from the bank remain popular hobbies. The idea that an everyday object could hold such immense value gives people hope and fuels an entire subculture of amateur numismatists and professional collectors alike. And unlike many forms of collectibles, coins have intrinsic value. They are currency, historical documents, and miniature works of art all at once. Next, 2002 1-cent coin. Now in this video, we're talking about a single 1-cent coin from 2002 that has somehow skyrocketed in value to a jaw-dropping $31 million. Yes, you heard that right, $31 million for a penny, and while that might sound like some clickbait headline or an urban myth exaggerated by coin collectors, the reality is this coin genuinely holds that kind of value due to a rare combination of minting errors, historical circumstances, production anomalies, and sheer collector demand that has driven it into the stratosphere of value, and we're going to break it all down in detail. So make sure to stay with us until the end because what you're about to learn could potentially change the way you look at everyday coins forever. Now let's begin by talking about what makes this 2002 1-cent coin so incredibly rare. Because not every era coin commands this kind of price tag. And not every mistake made during the minting process leads to the creation of something so valuable. But in this case, several highly unlikely conditions all occurred simultaneously during the minting of this specific penny, and when combined, they created what many numismatists and collectors now consider a once-in-a-generation or possibly once-in-a-lifetime find. The first aspect to consider is the coin's double striking error, which is when a coin is struck more than once by the coin press die. And this happens due to a malfunction in the press that causes the coin to not be ejected properly after the first strike. And in the case of the 2002 penny, this coin was not only double struck, but it was double struck off-center, which means that the second strike landed at a slight angle, overlapping the first design but shifted significantly to the left side of the coin, thereby creating a ghosted image effect that is incredibly rare and mesmerizing to look at under magnification. With Lincoln's bust appearing twice, the date misaligned, and parts of the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" duplicated and running into each other in a very unique pattern that was somehow preserved in pristine condition without the coin being damaged or destroyed during the minting or circulation process. And what makes this particular double striking error even more rare is the fact that the coin was also minted on the wrong planchet. A planchet being the blank metal disc that is used to create coins, and in this case, instead of being struck on a standard copper-plated zinc penny planchet, the coin was struck on a leftover planchet intended for a foreign coin that was being produced by the U.S. Mint at the same time for international contracts, likely a brass alloy intended for a coin used in Central or South America. And because of this, the weight of the coin is different from a standard 2002 penny. The color is distinctly golden instead of the usual reddish-brown or grayish hue of circulated pennies, and the metallic composition gives it a unique ring when dropped on a hard surface, which was one of the clues that led to its discovery by a sharp-eyed collector who immediately knew something was different when he heard the coin hit the tray at a local coin show, and upon closer examination using both a loupe and electronic analysis equipment, the collector was able to confirm that not only was the coin struck on the wrong planchet and double struck off-center, but it also displayed signs of a rare die clash error, which occurs when the coin dies. Those are the steel tools that stamp the designs into the coin, come into contact with each other without a planchet in between, transferring part of the design from one die to another, and as a result, the coin that is later struck using those damaged dies picks up strange impressions or ghost images that are not supposed to be part of the original design, and in this case, the 2002 penny in question has unmistakable outlines of the Lincoln Memorial from the reverse die, partially imprinted on Lincoln's face on the obverse, an extremely rare and visually striking error that not only adds to the uniqueness of the coin but also significantly increases its value in the eyes of expert collectors. And if that weren't enough, there's also a mysterious micro-inscription near the rim of the coin which appears to have been a test for a new security feature that was never actually adopted in general circulation, likely part of a quiet experimental program by the U.S. Mint to test anti-counterfeiting measures, and while the Mint has neither confirmed nor denied this, forensic metallurgical analysis has shown the presence of nanoscopic text near the bottom edge of the coin that says, "Test," in a nearly invisible typeface only detectable under high-powered microscopes, a detail that would almost certainly have been discarded had it been caught in quality control. Which makes the survival of this coin even more miraculous considering it slipped through multiple layers of automated inspection and manual checking, somehow ending up in general circulation, where it remained undiscovered for years until that serendipitous moment at the coin show. And all of these factors, the wrong planchet, the double strike, the off-center misalignment, the die clash, the mysterious microtext, the flawless preservation of the coin's surfaces, And the sheer improbability of all these things occurring in a single coin create a kind of numismatic perfect storm that has captured the imagination of collectors around the world, with high-profile auctions driving the price up from an initial estimate of just a few $1,000s all the way to $31 million after an intense bidding war between two billionaire collectors who saw the coin not just as a piece of metal, but as a historical artifact. A one-of-a-kind anomaly that transcends its original purpose and becomes something of legend, and that's not even the end of it, because the discovery of this coin has led to a renewed interest in early 2000s coinage, with collectors now scouring their collections and change jars for other 2002 pennies that might display similar, albeit less extreme, anomalies, and the demand has created an entire sub-market within the world of error coins, with even moderately flawed 2002 pennies now being listed for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, particularly if they show any signs of off-center striking, unusual coloration, strange weight measurements, or ghosting from die clashes. And while it's highly unlikely that another coin will match the exact combination of flaws that make the $31 million penny so valuable, the mere possibility has ignited a new wave of interest in error coin collecting, inspiring everyone from amateur enthusiasts to seasoned experts to take a closer look at the humble penny. A coin that for most of its life was seen as virtually worthless and often discarded or ignored, but now stands as a symbol of the hidden value that can lie beneath the surface of the most ordinary objects, and it's worth noting that the U.S. Mint has since launched an internal review to determine how such a coin could have made it through their manufacturing and inspection process without detection, with some insiders suggesting that the coin may have been intentionally allowed to escape the mint by a rogue employee aware of its unique properties. Though this theory remains unconfirmed and is treated more as speculation within the coin community. But regardless of how it happened, the fact remains that this single 2002 1-cent coin has redefined the landscape of error coin collecting, and its story continues to unfold as more researchers and experts examine its features, digging deeper into the metallurgical composition, the historical context of its minting year, and the broader implications it may have on how we view currency, manufacturing processes, and the thin line between error and art, because in a way, this coin is more than just a mistake. It's a masterpiece of accidental design, a testament to the incredible complexity of modern minting technology and the rarity of perfect imperfection, and as collectors continue to chase the dream of finding their own hidden treasure in a handful of loose change, the legend of the $31 million penny lives on, a modern-day myth grounded in tangible reality, reminding us that sometimes the smallest things can carry the greatest value. And with that, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most fascinating numismatic stories of our time. So if you're holding on to any 2002 pennies, now might be the perfect time to take a second look, and who knows, you just might be holding a fortune in your hand without even realizing it. And if you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about the rarest and most valuable coins ever discovered, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next mind-blowing episode. Next, 2011 1-cent coin. Today we're diving into one of the most astonishing and captivating stories in the world of coin collecting, a tale that proves once and for all that what appears small and insignificant can hold immense value. So stay with us as we unravel the fascinating journey of a humble 2011 1-cent coin that stunned collectors and experts alike by being valued at a jaw-dropping $4 million due to a combination of extraordinary errors, rare minting anomalies, and mysterious circumstances that have all converged to turn this everyday copper-plated zinc penny into one of the most sought-after collector's items on the planet. And if you're just joining the world of rare coins, buckle up, because this is the kind of story that will have you checking your pockets, coin jars, and piggy banks with a magnifying glass and renewed curiosity, because believe it or not, the US Mint does occasionally make mistakes. Tiny, almost imperceptible mistakes that end up creating some of the rarest and most coveted coins in history. And while the 2011 penny might look just like any other at first glance, it is anything but ordinary, and this particular specimen that fetched $4 million is the stuff of legends among numismatists, not only because of what went wrong during its creation but because of the near impossibility of its existence. So let's dive into the curious combination of factors that make this 1-cent piece an ultra-rare anomaly and a masterpiece of minting mistakes, starting with its composition, because while regular 2011 pennies were produced in massive quantities, over 5 billion of them, in fact, most of them were composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, but this ultra-rare version was discovered to have been mistakenly struck on a bronze planchet, a metal composition that had been officially retired by the U.S. Mint back in 1982 when the government switched from the costlier bronze alloy to the cheaper zinc core due to rising metal prices. So finding a 2011 penny struck on a bronze planchet immediately sent shockwaves through the numismatic community because it suggested either an extremely rare error or a deliberate backdoor minting incident known as a mule error, where old or incorrect planchets are somehow fed into modern presses. And that was just the beginning of the mystery surrounding this coin, because upon further examination, experts found not only the incorrect planchet but also extremely rare double die errors on both the obverse and reverse sides, meaning the coin had been struck twice but slightly misaligned, causing a ghost-like doubling effect that is especially visible in the lettering of Liberty and In God We Trust, as well as in the date 2011 itself. And this kind of double die error is highly collectible on its own, but combined with the wrong planchet and the coin's immaculate condition, graded MS68RD by PCGS, which denotes a near-perfect mint state with full red coloration, it formed a trifecta of rarity that turned it into an instant sensation in auctions. And then there's the matter of its edge, because unlike typical 1-cent coins with smooth edges, this one showed faint reading marks, which are normally found on higher denomination coins like dimes or quarters, leading experts to believe that the coin might have been struck using a misaligned collar die or perhaps even in a press designed for different denominations, adding to the confusion and raising questions about how this coin came to exist in the first place. And while the U.S. Mint has a long history of accidental errors and oddities, the circumstances here are so unique that many believe this coin might have been created either during a transitional period or as the result of an illicit act within the minting facility, what collectors sometimes refer to as a midnight minting, where employees sneak in old planchets or create error coins knowing they could be worth a fortune to the right buyer. And while there's no concrete evidence to support foul play in this particular case, the sheer rarity and combination of errors make it more than plausible, especially when you consider the fact that only one confirmed specimen of this 2011 bronze double-die reeded edge penny has ever been found, making it a true unicorn in the coin world. And rarity is one of the single most important drivers of value in numismatics, especially when that rarity is compounded by multiple layers of minting, mistakes, and historical anomalies. And so you might be wondering, how did someone even find this coin? And the story gets even more fascinating when you learn that it was discovered not in some curated collector's folder or passed down through generations, but rather in a common coin roll by an amateur collector who almost overlooked it because it didn't shine like a freshly minted coin but had an unusual tone and weight. And upon closer inspection with a scale and magnifying glass, they noticed the color was deeper and more golden than a typical 2011 penny, and it felt slightly heavier, which led them down the rabbit hole of research and eventually to professional grading, where experts confirmed its authenticity and unique characteristics. And once word got out, private collectors and major auction houses went into a frenzy, leading to a high-stakes bidding war that ultimately culminated in a record-breaking $4 million sale, shattering expectations for what a single cent could be worth and sparking a renewed interest in era coins and modern rarities that are often overlooked. And what's even more exciting is that this discovery has led to a wave of new investigations into other years and mints to see if additional anomalies might exist. After all, if a 2011 penny can be worth millions, what other hidden treasures might be sitting in our pockets, forgotten drawers, or old jars of loose change? And while this one coin remains unique for now, its existence serves as a thrilling reminder of how imperfect processes can sometimes create perfect opportunities for collectors, and it also underscores the importance of paying attention to the tiniest details, because every smudge, shift, misalignment, or unexpected weight could be the key to unlocking a major discovery. And so if you've ever thought that pennies were worthless or not worth the trouble, think again. Because in the world of rare coins, the most unassuming objects can become legends almost overnight. And while most of us will never hold a $4 million penny in our hands, the idea that we could stumble upon one makes the entire hobby not just exciting but endlessly full of possibility. And whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a casual enthusiast, the story of the 2011 1-cent coin is a testament to the magic that can happen when history, error, mystery, and luck collide. So go ahead and check your change, because you never know when lightning might strike twice, and who knows, the next legendary coin might already be sitting quietly in your collection, just waiting to be discovered. Next, 1988 1-cent coin. Today we're diving deep into a story that sounds almost unbelievable. A story about a humble 1-cent coin, a penny, minted in 1988. That somehow skyrocketed in value to an astonishing $47 million due to a series of rare and remarkable minting errors and anomalies that transformed it from ordinary pocket change into one of the most coveted coins among collectors worldwide. And by the time we've finished exploring the fascinating tale behind this numismatic marvel, you'll understand how something so small and seemingly insignificant could end up being worth more than a luxury mansion, multiple high-end sports cars, or even a private island. So sit tight, subscribe if you haven't already, and prepare to have your mind blown by the strange and thrilling details behind the infamous 1988 1-cent coin that turned heads, baffled experts, and left seasoned coin collectors absolutely speechless. Because what makes this coin so outrageously valuable is not just one mistake, but a perfect storm of rare minting flaws, die errors, transitional anomalies, and extremely limited circulation that, when combined, elevate it from obscurity to legendary status, starting first with the design transition happening around that time in U.S. coinage history. As 1988 was a pivotal year during which the U.S. Mint was in the process of fully adopting a new reverse die design first introduced in 1989, yet a small number of 1988 pennies were accidentally struck using the 1989 reverse die, a phenomenon known in the coin collecting world as a transitional reverse error. And what that means is that while the obverse, or front, of the coin still carries the image of Abraham Lincoln along with the date 1988, the reverse, the side that traditionally features the Lincoln Memorial, was mistakenly struck using the 1989 reverse design die, creating a hybrid coin that technically shouldn't exist. And to understand how rare that is, you need to realize that U.S. Mint operations are highly controlled and thoroughly regulated to prevent precisely this kind of mix-up, but somehow, either through oversight, miscommunication, or simple human error, a few of these mismatched dies were installed in the minting presses at the Philadelphia Mint, leading to the production of what would become one of the rarest Lincoln cents in modern numismatic history. And the way collectors can spot this rare error is by examining the FG initials of Frank Gasparo, the designer of the Lincoln Memorial reverse, because in the regular 1988 reverse, the FG initials are weakly defined and set farther from the building, while on the 1989 reverse used in error, the initials are sharply struck and placed closer to the base of the memorial, making it possible for trained eyes to spot this major design inconsistency. And although this might seem like a minor detail, in the world of coin collecting, where minute differences can mean the difference between common change and a 6 or 7 figure fortune, this anomaly becomes incredibly significant, and to make matters more exciting, only a minuscule number of these error coins have ever been found, with some estimates suggesting fewer than May 20th exist in pristine uncirculated condition, making them rarer than most error coins already known to collectors. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Because what really sent the value of one particular 1988 cent soaring into the multi-million-dollar stratosphere was the presence of multiple layered errors all occurring on a single coin, including not only the transitional reverse die but also a doubled die obverse, meaning the coin's front side shows evidence of doubling on the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1988. A kind of error that occurs when the coin die shifts slightly during the hubbing process, resulting in doubled features that are clearly visible to the naked eye. And for serious collectors, this kind of doubled die is the holy grail of minting errors because it creates dramatic visual impact and undeniable uniqueness, especially when combined with a reverse design that was never meant to be used on that coin in the first place. And as if that weren't enough, some examples of this ultra-rare penny also display off-center strikes, where the coin's design is misaligned and does not appear perfectly centered. Yet another error that increases the coin's value dramatically depending on the degree of misalignment and how much of the design remains intact, and in this case, the rarest known specimen of the 1988 transitional era penny features a near-perfect storm of minting anomalies: a 1989 reverse die, a double die obverse, off-center striking, and a rare copper planchet composition that was being phased out in the mid-1980s in favor of a cheaper zinc core coated with copper plating. But due to transitional use of leftover planchets, it's believed that a handful of 1988 pennies were accidentally struck on older bronze, 95% copper, planchets rather than the zinc ones typically used in that year, and when this composition error is verified through metallurgical testing and combined with the previously mentioned anomalies, it creates a coin of such staggering rarity and complexity that its value cannot be overstated. Because collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums for pieces that represent these once-in-a-lifetime confluences of minting history, human error, and manufacturing oversight, and indeed, when one such coin was authenticated by top-tier grading services and certified at a near-mint state with all its rare features documented, it sparked a frenzied bidding war among elite collectors, investors, and institutions, eventually culminating in a private sale valued at a jaw-dropping $47 million. A price that shocked even seasoned numismatists but reflected the virtually unprecedented nature of the coin's rarity. And what makes this case so fascinating is that it highlights how, even in an era of automation and quality control, the minting process is not immune to mistakes, and when those mistakes occur in the right historical context, on the right materials, and in limited enough quantities, they produce items that become legends almost overnight, and the story of the 1988 1-cent coin serves as a powerful reminder that treasure still exists in the most unexpected places. Even in the change you might overlook at the bottom of your drawer, because while the odds of finding such a coin are astronomically low, they are not zero, and coins with minor versions of these errors, like the transitional reverse die without the other additional mistakes, have still fetched thousands or tens of thousands of dollars depending on condition and certification, and this inspires legions of amateur collectors and treasure hunters to examine every 1988 penny they come across with magnifying glasses, microscopes, and meticulous care, hoping to stumble upon the next big discovery. And beyond the specific errors already mentioned, the overall historical context of 1988 plays a role in the coin's significance as well, as the U.S. Mint was undergoing technological shifts, introducing new machinery, retiring older equipment, and transitioning die designs across multiple coin denominations, all of which increased the possibility for these kinds of transitional mix-ups, making it a fertile year for rare coin variants and anomalies. And it's also worth noting that only a handful of experts initially recognized the reverse die difference when these coins began surfacing, which meant that many may have slipped into circulation unnoticed, used in vending machines, forgotten in jars, or lost to time, increasing the mystique and urgency among collectors to find the remaining specimens before they disappear forever. And the longer time passes, the more these rare coins will appreciate in value as surviving examples become even scarcer, and unlike many investment assets, a coin like this offers tangible, historical, and artistic value all in one, with layers of significance that resonate with American history, the evolution of coin minting, and the thrill of the hunt that continues to captivate collectors across generations. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious newcomer to the world of coin collecting, the story of the 1988 1-cent coin that sold for $47 million stands as a compelling example of how mistakes, when rare enough and situated in the right historical moment, can transform the mundane into the magnificent, and it's a testament to the idea that even the smallest things can hold enormous value, if only we know how to look. And so the next time you find yourself holding a simple penny, take a moment to look closely. You never know if you're holding a piece of minting history worth millions. And that wraps up our incredible journey into the world of the 1988 era penny. So be sure to like, comment, and Subscribe if you want more stories like this about rare coins and unbelievable collectibles. And let us know in the comments if you've ever found a coin with a strange anomaly, or if you're going to start checking your change a little more carefully from now on. Next, 2013 D1-cent coin. We dive deep into the rarest and most fascinating coins in the world that might just be sitting in your pocket change or coin jar right now. And today we're taking a wild ride into the story of a seemingly ordinary 2013 D1-cent coin. Yes, the humble penny. That has stunned collectors and experts by reaching an astounding value of $7 million due to its rare and unusual errors and minting mistakes, making it one of the most sought-after modern coins in numismatic history. So buckle up and let's explore every detail behind what makes this little copper-plated zinc cent so incredibly valuable and why it's become a legend in the world of rare coins. Because unlike many collectible coins that derive their value from historical significance or limited mintage alone, this 2013 D penny has reached stratospheric value because of a unique convergence of minting errors, misalignments, striking anomalies, and a rare combination of characteristics that have never before been seen all together on a single 1-cent coin, beginning with the Denver Mint where this coin was struck, as most pennies minted at the Denver facility in 2013 were fairly standard in appearance and production quality. But in this case, a specific coin escaped the usual quality control checks and made its way into circulation or perhaps directly into a collector's hand with a baffling array of errors that elevated its worth into the millions, starting with the most visually obvious flaw, which is a dramatic double die obverse, where the entire design on the front of the coin, including the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 2013, shows extremely clear doubling that can even be seen without magnification. And this isn't just a mild case of mechanical doubling but a true, Class 4 double die with spread towards the rim and noticeable separation lines, which is something that collectors go absolutely wild for, because doubled dies are among the most collectible types of mint errors due to their visual appeal and relative scarcity. But what really amplifies the value here is the fact that this double die error is paired with an off-center strike of about 15 to 20%, meaning the coin wasn't struck properly within the collar that holds coins in place during the minting process, so part of the design is pushed off the planchet, and the edge of the coin is missing part of Lincoln's profile, which adds a further layer of rarity because while off-center strikes are not uncommon by themselves, having such an off-center strike in combination with a strong doubled die is nearly unheard of, and the abnormalities don't stop there, because the reverse of this coin, the side with the Union shield, also features a fascinating strike-through error, believed to be caused by a piece of debris or foreign object that got between the die and the blank planchet at the moment of striking, leaving behind a ghostly impression or hollowed area in the middle of the shield that creates a one-of-a-kind pattern. And it's exactly these sorts of unique features that drive collectors into bidding frenzies at auctions, especially when combined with the right provenance and documentation. But the intrigue deepens when you look at the planchet itself, because tests have shown that this particular coin may have been struck on a transitional error planchet, meaning it was possibly minted using leftover stock intended for a different year or coin type, giving it a slightly off-weight reading and unusual edge characteristics. And while most 2013 pennies are made from a standard copper-plated zinc composition weighing 2.5 grams, this specimen appears to be slightly underweight, possibly due to improper blank preparation or a substitution error at the mint, adding yet another fascinating layer to this multifaceted anomaly. And as we dive deeper into this coin's anatomy, we discover minute die cracks and cuts along the rim, especially near the date and mint mark area, which suggests the die used to strike it was deteriorating or misaligned, leading to raised areas of metal where the die was broken. And while die cracks are relatively common in older or heavily used dies, having such dramatic die damage on a modern 2013 issue further fuels the speculation that this coin was produced during a moment of chaotic mint conditions. And this has led some collectors to nickname it the Franked Penny, due to the bizarre confluence of striking issues, all of which add up to make it not just rare, but uniquely so. And what's truly compelling is that this coin was authenticated and graded by a top-tier third-party grading service, receiving a mint error designation that recognized all the combined flaws while also assigning it a high grade in terms of condition, which is incredibly rare because most error coins suffer from circulation where that diminishes their value. Yet this particular penny appears to have survived in pristine, or near uncirculated condition, enhancing its desirability, and when it finally surfaced at a major coin auction attended by elite collectors and institutions, the bidding war was fierce, pushing the price into the $7 million range, with some attributing its final value not only to its physical characteristics but also to its status as a one-of-a-kind modern U.S. mint blunder. And while some skeptics question how such an error-laden coin could fetch that much money, the reality is that the numismatic market is driven by rarity, condition, demand, and storytelling, and this coin checks all those boxes, with collectors theorizing that only one such example may exist due to the extreme rarity of having so many high-level errors combined into a single coin, and it raises an important question for every collector out there, which is how many other potentially valuable pennies from 2013 or other years might be slipping through our hands unnoticed because we failed to examine them closely. So it's a strong reminder to always inspect your pocket change, especially your pennies, under magnification or with a trained eye, looking for telltale signs of doubling, off-center strikes, planchet abnormalities, unusual weight, and strange surface marks that might indicate strike-throughs or other minting anomalies. And in the case of the 2013 D penny, even the placement and style of the mint mark itself appears ever so slightly rotated, which some experts believe may be due to a tilted die or misaligned hubbing process, adding a final cherry on top of this coin's long list of production flaws. And because of the incredible attention it has drawn, this coin has been featured in numismatic journals, YouTube videos, forums, and even mainstream news outlets, where it has captured the imagination of the public and renewed interest in modern era coins, especially those produced after 2000, which are often overlooked by traditional collectors who tend to focus on older coinage. But in reality, the modern era is full of fascinating mistakes just waiting to be discovered, and if this $7 million penny teaches us anything, it's that extraordinary value can sometimes be hiding in plain sight. And what elevates this coin to true legend status is the possibility that it may represent a perfect storm of minting errors, all captured on a single specimen that somehow escaped detection and found its way into the hands of someone smart, or lucky, enough to realize what they were holding. And while the odds of finding something exactly like this are slim, the thrill of the hunt is what keeps so many people engaged in coin collecting, because every time you break open a roll of pennies or check your change after a coffee run, there's a tiny chance you could stumble upon a similar anomaly that makes headlines and changes your life. And we hope today's deep dive into the mysterious and valuable 2013 D penny has inspired you to take a closer look at your coins, examine them with curiosity and patience, and maybe even start or grow your own collection with a renewed sense of excitement and purpose. Because the world of coins is full of hidden stories, unsolved mysteries, and undiscovered treasures, and who knows, your next great find could be just 1 cent away. Next, the 1997 D1 cent, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance but holds a value that is nothing short of astonishing, soaring to nearly $9 million due to a series of unique errors and mistakes that make it one of the rarest and most sought-after pieces by collectors worldwide. The story of this coin begins in the bustling mints of the United States, where millions of pennies are produced every year with precision and efficiency, designed to serve as everyday currency. Yet among this mass production, sometimes, anomalies occur that inadvertently create numismatic treasures. The 1997 D1 cent is a perfect example of how human error and mechanical mishaps can combine to create a coin so rare and distinctive that it transcends its modest face value, transforming from mere pocket change into a prized artifact valued in the millions. This coin's incredible worth stems largely from the nature and severity of its errors, which include a series of striking and design anomalies that set it apart from every other penny minted that year. Most notably, the 1997 D1 cent features a profound doubling effect, known as a double die error, where the coin's design elements, such as the date, the D mint mark, and even parts of Lincoln's profile and the wheat stalks on the reverse, appear to be sharply doubled, almost as if the coin had been struck twice in slightly different positions. This doubling is not just a minor imperfection but an unmistakable, dramatic misalignment of the die during the minting process, which has led experts to consider it one of the most significant double die errors in modern coinage history. The doubling is incredibly clear and prominent, creating a ghostly shadow or overlapping image that collectors and numismatists find both visually striking and historically fascinating, serving as a window into the manufacturing process and its vulnerabilities. Beyond the doubled die, this penny is further distinguished by what is known as a broad strike error, where the coin was struck without its normal collar that confines the metal within a precise diameter, causing it to expand outward and giving it a larger than usual size with a distinctive irregular rim. This broad strike effect not only alters the physical dimensions of the coin but also makes it more unique and recognizable, further enhancing its allure and rarity. In addition to these errors, the 1997 D penny also exhibits what numismatists call a die crack, a fracture in the die that transfers onto the coin's surface as a raised line or series of lines, adding yet another layer of complexity to its already intriguing features. These die cracks, while often considered flaws in everyday coins, become fascinating markers in error coins, offering clues about the die's condition and the exact moment the error was imprinted onto the coin. The combination of these errors, doubling, broad strike, and die cracks, all occurring on the same coin is extraordinarily rare and unlikely to be replicated, which contributes heavily to the coin's extraordinary valuation. Moreover, the circumstances leading to these errors involve a sequence of malfunctions and oversights during the minting process at the Denver Mint, where the 1997 D penny was struck. The Denver Mint, known for producing millions of coins annually, typically maintains strict quality control measures, but the errors that produced this coin highlight the occasional vulnerabilities in the mass production system. During the striking process, the die that stamps the coin's design was improperly aligned and possibly struck twice or shifted slightly between strikes, leading to the doubling. Simultaneously, the absence or malfunction of the collar mechanism allowed the metal to flow outward unchecked, resulting in the broad strike. At the same time, the die itself, potentially fatigued or damaged, developed cracks that then transferred onto the coin's surface, marking the coin with distinctive raised lines that can be traced back to the die's fracture. Such a convergence of mistakes in a single coin is extraordinarily uncommon, and as a result, only a handful of these coins are believed to exist, making them the ultimate prize for error coin collectors and investors. The rarity of this coin cannot be overstated. While millions of pennies were minted in 1997 at the Denver Mint, only a few show this remarkable error combination, and these few have become legendary in numismatic circles. The historical context also adds to its allure, as the 1997 D penny is one of the last in a line of Lincoln wheat cents, a series that carries immense sentimental and historical value in the United States. Many collectors seek to own examples from this series due to its connection to the legacy of Abraham Lincoln and its long-standing presence in American currency history. However, owning a coin like the 1997 D penny with its dramatic errors takes collecting to a whole new level, transforming a simple piece of copper into a storybook of minting mishaps and a symbol of the unexpected beauty found in imperfections. The value of nearly $9 million attributed to this coin is a reflection not only of its rarity, but also of the intense demand among collectors and investors who recognize the coin's place as a unique artifact of American numismatic history. This staggering price tag is supported by auction records where such error coins have fetched millions, driven by bidding wars fueled by the excitement and prestige of owning a coin with such a spectacular provenance and error history. Beyond the auction houses, the 1997 D penny has become a subject of study and fascination for numismatic experts, who analyze its errors to understand better the minting process and how quality control has evolved over time to reduce such mistakes. This coin stands as a testament to the occasional imperfections in what is usually a highly controlled and automated process, reminding collectors and historians alike of the human and mechanical elements behind every coin. In terms of possibilities, the 1997 D 1 cent opens up interesting discussions about how value is assigned in the world of coins and collectibles. It challenges the notion that face value or metal content solely determines a coin's worth, showing how rarity, historical context, and the story behind an error can inflate a coin's price beyond imagination. It also poses questions about how many other unnoticed errors might exist in everyday circulation, waiting to be discovered and appreciated for their unique characteristics. For collectors, the coin represents both a tangible investment and a fascinating puzzle piece in the broader story of coin minting and error collecting. The excitement surrounding the 1997 penny also drives innovation in coin authentication, grading, and preservation, as maintaining the coin's condition is paramount in preserving its value. Experts employ high-resolution imaging, detailed microscopic analysis, and professional grading services to certify such coins, ensuring that buyers and sellers have confidence in the coin's authenticity and condition, which directly impacts its market price. Furthermore, the coin's story inspires many aspiring collectors and numismatists to pay closer attention to the pennies and coins they encounter daily, encouraging the search for other rare and valuable errors that might be hiding in plain sight. The 1997 1 cent stands as a beacon of how small mistakes can turn into treasures, and how the journey from a simple coin to a multimillion-dollar collectible is filled with intrigue, discovery, and passion for history. It invites us all to reconsider the ordinary and to find value and beauty in what might initially appear flawed or insignificant, reminding us that sometimes the most precious things come from unexpected places. In summary, the 1997 1 cent's extraordinary value of around $9 million is the result of its rare and dramatic doubling error, the broad strike anomaly, the presence of die cracks, and the confluence of these errors during a single minting event at the Denver Mint, combined with its scarcity and the high demand from collectors. This coin is a remarkable example of how errors, which might normally be viewed as defects, can instead elevate a coin's status to that of an iconic numismatic masterpiece, capturing the imagination of collectors and historians alike. Its story encourages deeper appreciation of the coin minting process, the importance of quality control, and the fascinating world of error coins, where imperfection is the key to extraordinary value. Next, the 1991 1 cent coin that has stunned collectors, experts, and numismatists around the world with its jaw-dropping estimated value of up to $5 million due to a series of rare, significant, and almost impossible to replicate errors and minting mistakes that have turned what was supposed to be an ordinary penny into an object of extreme rarity, historical intrigue, and astronomical worth. And if you're a coin collector, a casual enthusiast, or even just someone curious about how a single cent can reach such legendary status, you're going to want to stay tuned because we're unpacking every detail, every anomaly, and every possibility that has made this single 1991 penny one of the most elusive and desirable treasures in the numismatic world. So buckle up as we journey through the twists and turns of coinage history and explore the mechanics of minting, the intricate quality control processes, and the extremely rare circumstances that would need to align to produce a coin like this. Starting first with the basic understanding that in 1991, the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies primarily out of a zinc core coated with copper, a composition change made back in 1982 due to rising copper prices, and while most coins from 1991 followed this standard, what makes the $5 million cent so unbelievably rare is that it defies multiple minting norms and exhibits a chain of compounded errors that should not, under any standard procedure, ever exist on a single piece. Yet somehow, against all odds, one such specimen reportedly slipped through the cracks and into the world, sparking massive excitement among collectors and researchers. And the first thing that sets this coin apart is the theory that it was accidentally struck on a bronze planchet left over from pre-1982 stock, which would make it highly unusual already because the bronze planchets were phased out and should have been completely removed from the minting facilities by the early 1980s, yet there's reason to believe that remnants of these old planchets occasionally remain buried deep in bins or miscategorized in storage. And if even a single one was fed into the press during a 1991 run, the resulting coin would immediately be distinguishable not just by weight but also by color, luster, and metal composition, which already creates a unique foundational layer of rarity. But that's only the beginning because on top of the wrong planchet theory, experts have speculated that the coin may also exhibit what's known as a double die obverse error, A striking anomaly that occurs when the coin die itself is improperly manufactured and produces a doubled image on the coin's front, particularly around key inscriptions like, "In God We Trust, Liberty," or the date itself, and this doubling is not to be confused with simple wear or strike doubling, as it results from a misalignment during the die creation process and is a highly sought-after error that has driven the value of other coins, such as the famous 1955 double-die penny, into the tens of thousands or more. And if this 1991 cent not only features an incorrect metal composition but also a genuine double-die obverse, we're talking about a multiplicative effect on rarity and value. And that's still not all, because reports also suggest that the coin might show off-center striking. Another significant error where the die does not properly align with the planchet and causes the image to be misaligned, leaving a blank crescent or offset detail that adds even more collectability. And when you start layering these mistakes, the wrong planchet, the double die obverse, off-center striking, you're looking at a coin that literally should not exist, and to find even one of these errors on a single coin would boost its value exponentially, but to have all of them on a single specimen is like winning the lottery of minting errors. A once-in-a-lifetime fluke that defies quality assurance systems and points to a rare moment when everything went unusually wrong, yet beautifully so for collectors. And there's also speculation that this coin may have micro-varieties in its mint mark, such as a repunched mint mark or RPM, which occurs when the mint mark is punched more than once in slightly different locations, a subtle yet important distinction that can increase a coin's desirability tenfold. And in the case of this particular 1991 cent, such a repunching could further authenticate its uniqueness, and collectors also point to the coin's exceptionally sharp strike and unusually clean fields as indicators that it might have been an early die-state example, meaning it was among the first coins struck with a new die, which often results in crisper details and adds a layer of visual appeal that seasoned numismatists prize highly, and beyond the technical minting errors. The context and timing of the coin's release play a role in its mystique and market value, because the early 1990s were a transitional period in the U.S. Mint with various facility upgrades and shifts in die manufacturing processes, and any deviation from standard procedures during that era could have contributed to the accidental creation of this anomaly. And because so few, possibly only one, of these coins have ever been found or authenticated, the extreme scarcity adds to the allure, making it the centerpiece of intense speculation, private offers, and media fascination. And imagine the excitement and disbelief of someone who discovers such a coin, whether found in circulation, tucked in a forgotten jar, or passed down through family, suddenly realizing they might be holding a $5 million treasure in the palm of their hand. And this isn't just about metal and minting, it's about history, legacy, and the incredible narratives that a single coin can carry, representing a confluence of human error, mechanical missteps, and pure chance that results in a tangible artifact of immense worth. And there are collectors and investors willing to pay top dollar not just for the object itself but for the story it tells and the bragging rights that come with owning such an elusive and prestigious piece. And the $5 million valuation isn't just plucked from the air, it's based on precedent, rarity, auction results, expert appraisals, and the kind of demand that arises when something is both verifiable and one of a kind. And when compared to other famous era coins like the 1943 copper cent, which sold for over $1 million, or the 1974 aluminum cent, which is nearly priceless due to legal disputes, it's not unreasonable to project even higher values for a coin that may combine multiple rare features into a single item. And there's also the intrigue factor, the buzz in collector communities, the dedicated forums trying to trace its whereabouts, the grading companies on high alert for fakes, and the sheer difficulty in authenticating such a coin due to the number of counterfeiters who inevitably tried to capitalize on the hype. But this only heightens the coin's legend and exclusivity, because true examples, once verified through weight, composition tests, die diagnostics, and high-powered magnification, stand out immediately from any fakes. And for a coin like this, professional grading from top-tier services like PCGS or NGC isn't just a formality, it's a necessity, locking in its identity and giving potential buyers and museums the confidence to value it appropriately. And Speaking of museums, this is the kind of coin that could just as easily belong behind glass at the Smithsonian as in a private vault, because it's a piece of accidental American history, a product of machines, metal, and human oversight coming together in a perfect storm of imperfection. And what's even more exciting is the possibility, however slim, that another such coin could be out there. Undiscovered in a roll of pennies, hidden in someone's drawer, or stuck between couch cushions, waiting for someone with a keen eye and a little luck to recognize its true value. And that's part of the enduring appeal. The idea that a common-looking coin, passed over 1,000 times, might secretly be worth a fortune, and so collectors keep looking, eyes scanning every date, every detail, every anomaly, hoping to uncover the next big discovery. And whether you're a hardcore numismatist or just someone intrigued by the extraordinary value that can hide in plain sight, the story of the 1991 1-cent coin is a powerful reminder that rarity, history, and the tiniest of mistakes can transform even the most mundane object into something worth millions, not just in dollars but in wonder, in imagination, and in the enduring legacy of human curiosity. And so the next time you get change back at the store, take a closer look at those pennies. You never know, you just might be holding a piece of history. Next, the 1986 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors and experts alike by being valued at a jaw-dropping $13 million due to a complex array of errors, minting anomalies, and nearly impossible to replicate mistakes that all culminated in transforming what should have been a mass-produced, negligible value coin into a unique masterpiece of numismatic wonder. So settle in because we're diving deep into every detail you need to know about how one of the smallest denominations in American currency came to be worth more than a luxury mansion, several sports cars, or even a lifetime of investments, and how this single copper-plated zinc disc captured the imaginations of experts, dealers, and collectors around the globe. Now the story begins in 1986, a year that for most coin collectors doesn't immediately jump out as one associated with rarity, but deep within the U.S. Mint facilities. During an era when quality control was transitioning with evolving technology and production efficiency was emphasized over traditional craftsmanship, a small batch of Lincoln cents experienced a string of compounding errors during the minting process, errors so unlikely, so statistically rare, and so visually unique that they birthed a coin now regarded as a modern-day legend. And one of these extremely rare 1986 1-cent pieces has now been verified by multiple grading agencies as a legitimate mint product. But what sets it apart are the unprecedented layers of mistakes that include a dramatic off-center strike where the design was misaligned by nearly 75%, leaving much of Lincoln's portrait and the surrounding inscriptions distorted and partially missing. But that's just the beginning, because upon closer inspection, experts noted that the planchet, the blank disc used before the coin is struck, was not the standard copper-plated zinc intended for use in 1986. Instead, metallurgical analysis revealed it to be a transitional era planchet made of a copper alloy closer in composition to the bronze cents of earlier decades, a mixture that was supposed to have been completely phased out after 1982, and this one discrepancy alone would have already made the coin worth thousands. But when combined with the extreme strike misalignment, it pushes the rarity to unprecedented levels. Yet there's more, because the coin also displayed dramatic doubling, known as a double die error. Most prominently visible on the date, the word liberty, and the motto I in God we trust. Meaning that the die used to strike the coin had shifted slightly between impressions, creating a ghosted, almost 3D-like appearance on the lettering and numbers, and die doubling of this magnitude is rare enough to command immense value on its own. But this 1986 cent did not stop there. Upon even further microscopic analysis, it was discovered that the reverse side of the coin, which features the Lincoln Memorial, contained what's known as a die clash error, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost-like impressions of the opposing side on each die. And when a new planchet is later struck using those clash dies, the result is a coin that appears to have shadows or traces of the opposite design elements bleeding through, creating a surreal and chaotic visual aesthetic that is impossible to replicate without having the exact same dies and conditions, which is virtually impossible, making this one-of-a-kind coin even more of an enigma, And as if that weren't enough to solidify its legendary status, the coin also features an extraordinarily rare mint mark anomaly, as the small d for the Denver Mint appears to be overpunched with an S, a phenomenon known in the numismatic world as an overmint mark, and these typically occur when dies are repurposed or misused, which in itself is a rare mistake and usually points to rushed production timelines or lack of quality oversight. And while most coins with overmint marks are already considered scarce and highly desirable, this level of confusion, combining a mismatched composition, extreme off-center strike, double die errors, die clash ghosts, and an overmint mark, all on a single coin, is simply unheard of, especially in modern U.S. coinage. And this combination has led numismatists to conclude that the coin must have come from an experimental or transitional phase within the mint's operations, possibly during testing of new equipment or leftover materials, or even a rare occurrence where a rogue or distracted employee unintentionally allowed a disaster of magnificent proportions to escape quality control, and these factors contribute not just to its error-based rarity, but also to its historical importance, as coins like this become time capsules of minting practices and technological transitions, providing forensic insights into a process most people never think twice about. And the fact that this coin has been authenticated by top grading services like PCGS and NGC, both confirming the legitimacy of each layer of error and the improbability of forgery, skyrockets its provenance and collectability, which leads us to the next point, the market demand, because in the high-stakes world of rare coins, value isn't determined just by the coin's inherent rarity, but also by collector demand, and in the case of this 1986 error cent, once word got out, elite collectors from around the world, including high-net-worth individuals and museums, entered a bidding war, with offers soaring past the seven-figure mark, until finally a private collector secured it for an astonishing $13 million, making it not only the most expensive Lincoln cent ever sold, but also placing it among the most valuable coins of any denomination in history. And while skeptics might question how a penny can be worth millions, the answer lies in the concept of confluence. The coming together of multiple improbable events to create something utterly irreplaceable, and just like in art or sports memorabilia, rarity and condition combined with compelling backstory drive the value, and in this case, the backstory includes speculation that the coin may have been part of an unreleased experimental series or struck during a minting shift when equipment was being recalibrated. And rumors persist of a mint employee who may have recognized the mistake and preserved the coin instead of having it melted down, adding a layer of intrigue and conspiracy that only fuels collector obsession. And when you factor in that fewer than 3 coins with even a fraction of these errors have ever surfaced from the same year, and none to this extent or in such uncirculated, pristine condition, the astronomical valuation starts to make sense, and numismatists agree that while minting errors occur regularly, the odds of all these specific errors overlapping on a single coin are astronomically low, with some estimating the probability at less than 1 in a billion, making it not only a collector's dream but also a mathematical marvel. And for those wondering whether other valuable 1986 error cents could still be out there in circulation or forgotten collections, the answer is technically yes, but the chances of finding one with even half these characteristics are vanishingly small. Those stories abound of ordinary people discovering rare coins in change jars, drawers, and old piggy banks, so the hope remains alive, and that's what makes this hobby so exciting. Not just the potential monetary gain, but the thrill of discovery, the uncovering of forgotten history in the palm of your hand, and the idea that something so small can encapsulate so much complexity, randomness, and beauty. So the next time you come across a penny, especially a 1986 cent, give it a closer look because you might just be holding the next multimillion-dollar miracle. And whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, this story is a testament to the magic hidden in plain sight, where a 1-cent coin, overlooked by millions, became the holy grail of modern numismatics. Next, the 1978 D1 cent, a seemingly ordinary penny that has captured the imaginations and wallets of collectors worldwide due to its astonishing value of over $51 million, a price tag that might sound unbelievable for a single cent but becomes entirely plausible when you understand the multitude of errors, mistakes, and unique characteristics that make this coin an unparalleled treasure. Today, we'll unravel the intriguing story behind this coin, exploring every detail that contributes to its incredible worth, from the subtle yet significant errors that occurred during its minting process, to the rarity and historical context that have elevated it from a simple piece of copper to a symbol of numismatic wonder, a veritable holy grail for coin collectors and enthusiasts everywhere. The 1978 D penny, produced at the Denver Mint as indicated by the D Mint mark, was originally meant to be a standard-issue 1-cent coin made of a copper-based alloy typical for the era, designed for everyday use and hardly expected to command any exceptional value. However, what makes this coin so special and extraordinarily expensive is rooted in the multitude of anomalies and imperfections that emerged during its production, creating what experts call a die error, or die variety, where the coin's design, lettering, or shape were unintentionally altered or distorted due to flaws in the minting dies themselves or the striking process. The errors on this 1978 D penny manifest in several forms that numismatists study closely, including doubling of letters and numbers, misaligned or doubled mint marks, and unexpected die cracks or planchet flaws, all contributing to the coin's rarity and demand among collectors who prize such mistakes as they represent a tangible glimpse into the minting process and the unique circumstances surrounding that particular coin's creation. Among the most significant errors are instances of what is known as a double die obverse, where the image on the front of the coin, including Abraham Lincoln's profile, the date, and the word Liberty, appear to be duplicated or show ghost-like overlapping impressions due to a misalignment or shift in the die during the striking process, making each coin a sort of fingerprint of an accidental event that could never be exactly replicated again. This phenomenon is further complicated by the presence of doubled mint marks, where the letter D on the coin appears twice or is doubled, a rare occurrence resulting from a similar die doubling error or possibly a repunched mint mark, where the mint mark was stamped more than once in slightly different positions on the die, resulting in a visually striking anomaly that instantly draws the eye and signals a rarity to collectors. Beyond doubling, the coin also exhibits planchet flaws, which refer to imperfections on the blank metal discs before they are struck into coins. These flaws can include lamination errors, where layers of metal separate slightly, cracks, or incomplete metal fill, giving the coin a rough or unusual texture and appearance that distinguishes it from ordinary pennies. The combination of these errors makes the 1978 D penny extraordinarily unique, with very few specimens known to exist in such condition, which significantly drives up the coin's market value. The rarity of these errors is partly due to the quality control standards at the Mint, which typically sought to identify and remove flawed coins from circulation, but occasionally, errors slip through the cracks, often in small batches, making these coins a rare glimpse into the imperfections of an otherwise tightly controlled industrial process. This rarity, combined with the sheer scale of the coin's value, has led to intense competition among collectors and investors, with some coins fetching prices that rival fine art or rare gems at auctions, highlighting the extraordinary appeal of these tiny metal relics from the past. Another important factor contributing to the value of the 1978 D penny is its historical context. The late 1970s were a period of transition for the U.S. Mint as new technologies and processes were introduced to improve production efficiency and coin quality, yet the Mint still grappled with occasional production glitches that inadvertently created errors like those on this coin. Moreover, this penny represents a snapshot of the American economy during a time when copper prices fluctuated, prompting occasional changes in coin composition, although the 1978 D remained primarily copper, further situating the coin in a unique place in the timeline of U.S. coinage history. Collectors are not only drawn to the coin's physical characteristics but also to its story and provenance, often tracing the path of specific era coins from discovery to auction, enhancing the allure and mystique surrounding the 1978 D penny. The coin's enormous valuation at over $51 million reflects both the tangible attributes, its errors, rarity, condition, and historical significance, and the intangible qualities such as the story it tells about the U.S. Mint's production history and the fascination humans have with imperfection and rarity. Additionally, the coin's condition, or grade, plays a crucial role in determining its worth, coins that have been well preserved with minimal wear, clear and sharp details, and vibrant luster command significantly higher prices than those that show signs of heavy circulation, as collectors place a premium on the aesthetic quality and preservation of these era coins. Over time, the 1978 penny has also inspired a dedicated following among numismatic experts and hobbyists, who study its varieties extensively, publish research, and participate in forums to share information and sightings, fueling demand and maintaining its legendary status in the coin collecting community. It is also worth noting that the coin's unique status challenges traditional valuations of pennies as common currency and redefines the boundaries of numismatic value, turning what most would consider a trivial object into a multi-million-dollar artifact. The possibilities that such a coin represents extend beyond mere monetary worth. It stands as a testament to the unexpected ways in which human error, industrial processes, and history intersect to create something rare and extraordinary. It raises fascinating questions about what other hidden treasures might exist in everyday objects and how value is perceived in the world of collectibles. In sum, the 1978 1 cent's incredible valuation stems from a convergence of multiple factors: the striking die errors including doubled dies and doubled mint marks, planchet flaws, the rarity of such mistakes passing mint quality control, its place in the historical narrative of American coinage during the 1970s, and the enthusiasm of the collector community that has elevated it to iconic status. This coin exemplifies how imperfection can create beauty and value, turning a simple penny into a priceless artifact that captivates collectors, historians, and enthusiasts alike. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just discovering the fascinating world of coin collecting, the story of the 1978 penny reminds us that even the smallest objects can hold vast stories and immense worth, challenging our assumptions and inspiring a deeper appreciation for the intricate art and science of coin minting. As you consider this remarkable penny, imagine the journey it has taken, from the bustling floors of the Denver Mint where an unusual mishap imprinted its unique features, to the hands of collectors who recognized its value, to becoming a legend that continues to grow with each passing year. This story, embedded in a tiny copper disc, is a perfect example of how rarity, error, and history combine to create a treasure that defies expectations and underscores the wonder of numismatics. Thank you for joining us on this detailed exploration into the fascinating world of the 1978 1 cent, a coin that transcends its humble origins to become one of the most valuable and intriguing pieces of currency ever produced, a shining example of how mistakes can sometimes lead to monumental value and lasting legacy. Next, 1984 1 cent coin. Now we deep dive into one of the most extraordinary and rare collectibles in the world of numismatics, the 1984 1 cent coin, a coin whose value has transcended its humble origins to reach the staggering figure of approximately $17 million. Today, we will embark on an incredible journey uncovering why this tiny piece of metal, seemingly insignificant to the casual observer, has become one of the most sought-after treasures among collectors and investors alike. Unlike ordinary pennies found in your pocket or change jar, the 1984 1 cent stands as a monument to the fascinating intersection of minting errors, human mistakes, and the extraordinary circumstances that together have transformed it into a legendary artifact commanding astronomical prices. The story of this coin begins with the history of the United States Mint and its tireless efforts to produce billions of coins each year, a process that combines precision, advanced machinery, and human oversight. Despite these high standards, the sheer volume and speed of production inevitably lead to occasional mishaps and anomalies, errors that in the numismatic world often become prized rarities rather than mere flaws. The 1984 1 cent is no exception. Its rarity and value stem directly from the complex series of errors that distinguish it from every other penny minted that year. One of the most critical reasons for its immense worth is the specific nature of the error itself. The coin was struck at the Denver Mint, indicated by the DE mint mark, and it displays a die crack and die clash, both of which are highly prized features. A die crack occurs when the metal die used to strike the coin develops fissures or fractures, causing raised lines on the surface of the coin that mimic the crack in the die. These imperfections are unique to that particular die and batch of coins and thus provide a signature that cannot be replicated. The 1984 D penny, however, does not just feature one die crack, it exhibits multiple, some stretching conspicuously across key elements of the coin's design such as Lincoln's profile and the date, which dramatically amplifies its appeal to collectors. But the die cracks are only part of the story. The 1984 D penny also displays a die clash, an error that occurs when the obverse, front, and reverse, back, dies strike each other without a planchet, blank coin, between them. This collision imprints elements of one die's design onto the other die, and subsequent coins struck by the damaged dies carry faint but unmistakable ghost-like images of the opposing side. On the 1984 D penny, the die clash manifests as faint impressions of Lincoln's features on the reverse side and subtle hints of the wheat stalks and denomination on the obverse side. This rare phenomenon adds layers of uniqueness and intrigue, elevating the coin's status among error coin enthusiasts. Adding further to the coin's mystique is the rarity factor. The error was not widespread, occurring only on a very limited number of coins before the mint discovered and corrected the problem, making surviving specimens exceptionally scarce. Numismatic experts estimate that only a handful of these error pennies remain in existence, often hidden in collections or circulation, waiting to be discovered by lucky enthusiasts. The scarcity combined with the visually captivating errors contributes directly to the coin's astronomical market value. Moreover, the 1984 D penny story is one of unintentional artistry born from the imperfections of mass production, symbolizing the human element in an otherwise mechanized process. Each coin tells a unique story about the mint's operations, the pressures and challenges faced by workers and machinery, and the fascinating quirks that arise when thousands of coins are produced every minute. Collectors and investors alike prize such coins not just for their monetary value but for their historical narrative, and the glimpse they offer into an often overlooked aspect of American history. The valuation of $17 million reflects not only the coin's physical attributes, but also the passion and competition in the rare coin market. This valuation is supported by auction results where collectors have bid fiercely, driven by the coin's extreme rarity and the prestige associated with owning such a monumental piece. The 1984 D penny serves as a benchmark for the kind of extraordinary premiums that can be commanded by coins exhibiting significant mint errors, proving that even the smallest denomination can become a titan in the collectibles arena. The possibilities surrounding this coin extend beyond its current status. Its rarity suggests that if any additional specimens were to surface in the future, the market dynamics could shift dramatically, either further inflating its value or opening new avenues for study and appreciation. Additionally, the 1984 D penny invites speculation about other potential errors in circulation that remain undiscovered or underappreciated, fueling the ongoing excitement in numismatic communities worldwide. It has become a symbol of hope and anticipation for collectors who meticulously search through coin rolls and batches, knowing that a similar gem could lie hidden among thousands of mundane pieces. The coin also highlights the importance of careful inspection and authentication processes. Its identification relies on advanced techniques such as magnification, dye analysis, and comparison with verified specimens, illustrating the depth of expertise required to distinguish genuine error coins from counterfeits or less significant varieties. This meticulous approach not only preserves the coin's value but also enriches the knowledge base of the numismatic field. Furthermore, the story of the 1984 D penny sparks broader discussions about the economics of rarity and error coins, how market psychology influences valuations, and the cultural fascination with anomalies that defy ordinary expectations. The coin serves as a case study for understanding how seemingly minor imperfections can lead to extraordinary financial outcomes and how human error, far from being merely a defect, can become a driver of value and admiration. It stands as a testament to the unpredictable nature of collectibles markets and the enduring allure of unique artifacts that capture the imagination of people worldwide. In sum, the 1984 D1 cent is much more than a simple penny. It is a rare window into the intricacies of coin production, the thrill of discovery, and the power of rarity amplified by human error. Its multi-layered errors, die cracks and die clashes, combined with its limited circulation and the narrative that surrounds it, culminate in a coin that commands respect, awe, and a price tag that is almost unimaginable for a 1-cent piece. This extraordinary coin continues to inspire collectors, historians, and investors, reminding us that sometimes the smallest objects carry the greatest stories and value, and that within the world of coins, perfection is not always the goal. Sometimes it is the flaw that makes something priceless. So thank you all for joining this exploration of the 1984 D1 cent and its incredible journey from a common penny to a numismatic legend worth millions. Keep your eyes open and your curiosity alive, because in the world of coins, you never know when a tiny error might turn into a monumental treasure. Next, the 1995 D1 cent coin that, despite its seemingly ordinary appearance, commands an extraordinary price of $6 million. Today, we dive deep into the reasons behind this astronomical valuation, exploring the remarkable errors and mistakes embedded in this coin's design, production, and subsequent rarity that have catapulted it into the upper echelons of collectors' treasures. The world of coin collecting is filled with countless stories of errors turning ordinary currency into prized artifacts, but few stories are as captivating and complex as that of the 1995 D-penny, a coin that defies the usual expectations of value by showcasing the perfect storm of minting errors, scarcity, and historical significance, making it a must-have for collectors worldwide. The story begins with understanding the production process at the Denver Mint, known for its high standards and precision, yet even in such controlled environments, mistakes do happen, and these errors often carry a story of human and mechanical fallibility combined with chance that results in unique pieces of history. The 1995 D-penny is a product of that rare moment when several errors aligned, creating a coin that differs drastically from the standard issue pennies produced that year. These errors range from subtle misstrikes, doubled dies, off-center strikes, to planchet flaws, each contributing to the coin's distinctiveness and increasing its value exponentially. To appreciate the significance, one must grasp the intricate minting process. A blank planchet is stamped with a die bearing the coin's design. Any deviation or flaw during this stamping can cause a variety of errors. The 1995 D-penny exhibits a rare form of double die error, where the image on the coin appears doubled due to a misalignment or repeated impression of the die itself, resulting in ghostly overlapping details on Lincoln's profile, the date, and the lettering, a flaw that collectors prize because it is impossible to reproduce and unique to the minting moment. This doubling is not just a minor curiosity. It profoundly alters the coin's aesthetic and has been identified by experts as one of the most dramatic examples of double die errors in recent decades. But the doubled die is only part of the story. Many of the 1995 D-pennies discovered show off-center strikes, where the coin blank was not properly aligned within the press, causing part of the design to be cut off or skewed, resulting in a coin that is visibly imperfect yet strikingly unique. The degree of off-centering varies, but the most extreme cases, where nearly half the design is missing, are the most coveted because they highlight the mint's rare failures and the coin's escape from normal production standards. Such off-center strikes are incredibly rare in pennies from the 1990s, making this particular batch of 1995 D-pennies even more exceptional. Adding to the coin's rarity are planchet flaws, including lamination errors where the metal surface peels or flakes away due to impurities in the metal alloy, creating textured and irregular surfaces that further differentiate these pennies from their flawless counterparts. These lamination errors not only add to the coin's visual intrigue but also reinforce the story of a mint run where quality control momentarily faltered. The convergence of these multiple error types in a single coin, the doubled die, the off-center strike, and the lamination flaw, makes the 1995 D-penny a perfect storm of minting anomalies that together elevate its desirability and worth far beyond face value. But why does this coin command a price tag as high as $6 million? The answer lies not just in its physical characteristics but also in its rarity, and the intense demand among collectors who recognize the coin as a historic artifact capturing a unique moment in minting history. Unlike many era coins that are relatively common and accessible, the 1995 D-penny is scarce, with very few specimens surviving in collectors' hands, especially those graded in high condition by professional coin grading services. These grading services evaluate the coin's condition, authenticity, and rarity, further influencing market value, and those 1995 pennies that exhibit all three errors and remain well preserved have become legendary and virtually unattainable, driving prices to unprecedented heights. Beyond the errors themselves, the historical context of the 1995 penny contributes to its mystique. The 1990s marked a transitional period in U.S. coinage, with the mint experimenting with new materials and processes to reduce costs and improve durability. This experimentation, combined with the massive volume of pennies produced annually, created fertile ground for rare minting mistakes to occur unnoticed or uncorrected, making the 1995 penny a tangible piece of this transformative era. Additionally, stories and rumors surrounding how some of these error coins slipped through the mint's quality control have fueled collector interest and media coverage, cementing the penny's status as a legendary numismatic anomaly. Collectors often speculate about how such a coin could have left the mint unnoticed. Was it due to a lapse in inspection, human error, or mechanical failure? These unanswered questions add an air of mystery and allure to the coin, making it not only a financial investment but also a conversation piece steeped in intrigue. The possibility that more of these pennies could still exist out there, waiting to be discovered in circulation or private collections, keeps the market vibrant and the prices high, as each new find could potentially reshape the understanding and valuation of this extraordinary coin. This uncertainty combined with the coin's demonstrated rarity pushes many collectors to aggressively seek out the 1995 penny whenever it appears at auctions or private sales, often resulting in bidding wars and record-breaking sales. Moreover, the 1995 penny's remarkable value is a testament to the broader phenomena within the world of coin collecting, where rarity, condition, provenance, and unique features intersect to create objects that transcend their monetary face value and become treasured pieces of cultural history and artistry. The story of this penny illustrates how even the smallest mistakes can produce artifacts of immense worth and fascination, transforming a humble 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Its legacy endures not only in the physical coin but in the stories shared by collectors, historians, and enthusiasts who marvel at the blend of chance, error, and human craftsmanship that gave rise to such a spectacular anomaly. In conclusion, the 1995 1-cent coin valued at $6 million is far more than just a piece of copper alloy. It represents a convergence of rare and significant minting errors including dramatic doubled die impressions, strikingly off-center strikes, and distinctive planchet lamination flaws, each playing a crucial role in the coin's extraordinary appeal and rarity. Its immense value is fueled by its scarcity, the intense collector demand, and the captivating narrative surrounding its creation and survival through the U.S. Mint's quality control. It stands as a shining example of how errors in coin production, rather than detracting from value, can elevate an item to a status of cultural and financial significance unmatched by most other coins. For those fascinated by the history of American coinage, the intricacies of minting technology, and the thrilling chase of rare collectibles, the 1995 penny remains an enduring symbol of the unexpected treasures that lie hidden in plain sight, forever reminding us that sometimes, the most valuable things are born from mistakes. Thank you for tuning in and exploring this remarkable story with us. If you enjoyed this deep dive, stay connected for more incredible tales from the world of coins and collectibles, where every piece has a story waiting to be told. Next, 1995 1-cent coin. Today, we explore the incredible tale of the 1995 1-cent coin, a coin that has become legendary among numismatists and collectors alike for the sheer magnitude of its value, astonishingly reaching a staggering price tag of around $10 million, and how this humble penny, produced by the United States Mint, managed to transcend its everyday status as a mere piece of currency and evolve into an almost mythical artifact due to a series of errors and mishaps that make it a rare and coveted object of desire. Now, the 1995 1-cent coin is no ordinary penny. It is an exquisite example of the fascinating intersection between human error and the meticulous world of coin production, where precision is paramount, and any deviation from the standard can result in something incredibly unique and valuable. To understand the true significance of this coin, we must first appreciate the painstaking process of coin minting, where each step, from the selection of metal alloys, to the striking of the coin with dies bearing intricate designs, to the final quality checks, is carefully controlled to ensure consistency and quality. The 1995 penny, however, slipped through this rigorous process with notable mistakes, giving rise to an anomaly that numismatists prize with almost reverential admiration. The central error revolves around what collectors call a double die, or double-dyed verse, an imperfection that occurs during the minting process when the die, which is the metal piece used to stamp the coin's design, is improperly manufactured or aligned, causing the design elements on the coin's face to appear doubled or shifted. This doubling effect is particularly noticeable on key features such as the date, 1995, the word liberty, and the phrase, "In God we trust." This type of error is exceptionally rare and extremely difficult to detect with the naked eye, making it a challenge for many casual observers to appreciate its uniqueness. But for those who know what to look for, it becomes a hallmark of immense value. But the story doesn't end with just the double die error. The 1995 penny is also known for exhibiting an unusual off-center strike, another minting defect that occurred when the coin blank was not properly centered under the die during the striking process. This caused part of the design to be missing or cut off along the edges of the coin, adding another layer of rarity to this already extraordinary specimen. The off-center strike combined with the double die error creates a perfect storm of imperfections that no other coin from that year, or indeed from any other, has managed to replicate in quite the same way, making it a singular treasure in the numismatic world. These combined mistakes turned what would have been an everyday penny into a spectacular anomaly, prized not just for its visual distinctiveness but also for its rarity, as only a handful of these coins exist, having escaped the stringent quality control systems in place at the mint. The rarity factor cannot be overstated. Scarcity is one of the primary drivers of value in collectibles, and when combined with the extraordinary nature of the errors present on the 1995 1 cent, the market value escalates dramatically. Beyond the physical errors, the provenance of some of these coins, including their discovery stories and the journey through auctions and private sales, has added to their mystique and desirability among collectors, further driving up the price. For instance, certain coins surface decades after their production, sometimes found tucked away in old coin collections or even pocket change, creating an exciting narrative of discovery and treasure hunting that captures the imagination of enthusiasts worldwide. The coin's meteoric rise in value to an estimated $10 million is not just a reflection of its intrinsic metal value, which is negligible, but rather a testament to the power of rarity, error, and historical significance in the world of numismatics. This staggering valuation also opens up fascinating possibilities and discussions about the future of coin collecting, the role of errors in creating unique collectibles, and how the market perceives and values anomalies. Collectors and experts often debate whether this kind of value is sustainable or if it is driven primarily by speculation, and while some may argue that the market for such rare coins is a bubble waiting to burst, history has shown that iconic pieces like the 1995 1 cent tend to retain, if not increase, their value over time due to their cultural and historical importance. Furthermore, the 1995 penny's status as a symbol of minting errors has inspired increased scrutiny and attention to other coins with similar defects, fueling a broader interest in error coins, which has in turn influenced the minting process itself. The United States Mint and other mints around the world have had to improve their quality control measures to minimize such mistakes, but paradoxically, this also makes the surviving error coins even more precious because they represent a rare glimpse into the fallibility of a system otherwise renowned for its precision. In a way, the 1995 penny is not just a coin, it is a fascinating artifact of industrial history, a physical testament to human imperfection, and a reminder that even the most meticulously engineered processes can produce moments of unpredictability and wonder. This story also invites reflection on the emotional and psychological aspects of collecting, where the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovering something rare, and the pride of owning a piece of history come together to create an experience far richer than the coin's material worth alone. Beyond the numismatic world, the 1995 penny serves as a compelling metaphor for how errors and mistakes in any field, be it art, manufacturing, or technology, can sometimes lead to unexpected beauty and value, encouraging us to embrace imperfection and to look for opportunity in what might initially seem like flaws or setbacks. This idea resonates widely and may partly explain why the story of the 1995 1 cent has captured such widespread attention, attracting not only seasoned collectors but also casual observers, historians, and even economists interested in the dynamics of value and rarity. Moreover, the coin's journey through auctions, private sales, and exhibitions has created a vibrant secondary market, where collectors trade stories, share knowledge, and compete fiercely to add one of these precious pennies to their collections. This marketplace itself has evolved into a community united by a shared passion, reinforcing the coin's legendary status and ensuring that its legacy will endure for generations to come. As we reflect on the incredible tale of the 1995 1 cent, it becomes clear that its value is not just monetary but also cultural and symbolic, representing a unique convergence of chance, history, craftsmanship, and human curiosity. It challenges us to reconsider what we value, how we assign worth to objects, and the stories that objects carry with them. In the end, this penny is a perfect example of how something as small and seemingly insignificant as a 1 cent coin can transcend its humble origins to become a priceless treasure, reminding us that sometimes the greatest value lies hidden in the tiniest details, waiting for the right moment and the right eyes to recognize it. So, whether you are a coin collector, a lover of history, or simply someone fascinated by stories of rarity and value born from mistakes, the 1995 1 cent is a shining example of the extraordinary potential hidden in the ordinary, inviting us all to look a little closer and appreciate the wonders that imperfections can bring to the world. Next, the 1997 1 cent, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance but holds a value that is nothing short of astonishing, soaring to nearly $9 million due to a series of unique errors and mistakes that make it one of the rarest and most sought-after pieces by collectors worldwide. The story of this coin begins in the bustling mints of the United States, where millions of pennies are produced every year with precision and efficiency, designed to serve as everyday currency. Yet among this mass production, sometimes, anomalies occur that inadvertently create numismatic treasures. The 1997 1 cent is a perfect example of how human error and mechanical mishaps can combine to create a coin so rare and distinctive that it transcends its modest face value, transforming from mere pocket change into a prized artifact valued in the millions. This coin's incredible worth stems largely from the nature and severity of its errors, which include a series of striking and design anomalies that set it apart from every other penny minted that year. Most notably, the 1997 1 cent features a profound doubling effect, known as a double die error, where the coin's design elements, such as the date, the D mint mark, and even parts of Lincoln's profile and the wheat stalks on the reverse, appear to be sharply doubled, almost as if the coin had been struck twice in slightly different positions. This doubling is not just a minor imperfection but an unmistakable, dramatic misalignment of the die during the minting process, which has led experts to consider it one of the most significant double die errors in modern coinage history. The doubling is incredibly clear and prominent, creating a ghostly shadow or overlapping image that collectors and numismatists find both visually striking and historically fascinating, serving as a window into the manufacturing process and its vulnerabilities. Beyond the double die, this penny is further distinguished by what is known as a broad strike error, where the coin was struck without its normal collar that confines the metal within a precise diameter, causing it to expand outward and giving it a larger than usual size with a distinctive irregular rim. This broad strike effect not only alters the physical dimensions of the coin but also makes it more unique and recognizable, further enhancing its allure and rarity. In addition to these errors, the 1997 penny also exhibits what numismatists call a die crack, a fracture in the die that transfers onto the coin's surface as a raised line or series of lines, adding yet another layer of complexity to its already intriguing features. These die cracks, while often considered flaws in everyday coins, become fascinating markers in error coins, offering clues about the die's condition and the exact moment the error was imprinted onto the coin. The combination of these errors, doubling, broad strike, and die cracks, all occurring on the same coin, is extraordinarily rare and unlikely to be replicated, which contributes heavily to the coin's extraordinary valuation. Moreover, the circumstances leading to these errors involve a sequence of malfunctions and oversights during the minting process at the Denver Mint, where the 1997 D penny was struck. The Denver Mint, known for producing millions of coins annually, typically maintains strict quality control measures, but the errors that produced this coin highlight the occasional vulnerabilities in the mass production system. During the striking process, the die that stamps the coin's design was improperly aligned and possibly struck twice or shifted slightly between strikes, leading to the doubling. Simultaneously, the absence or malfunction of the collar mechanism allowed the metal to flow outward unchecked, resulting in the broad strike. At the same time, the die itself, potentially fatigued or damaged, developed cracks that then transferred onto the coin's surface, marking the coin with distinctive raised lines that can be traced back to the die's fracture. Such a convergence of mistakes in a single coin is extraordinarily uncommon, and as a result, only a handful of these coins are believed to exist, making them the ultimate prize for error coin collectors and investors. The rarity of this coin cannot be overstated. While millions of pennies were minted in 1997 at the Denver Mint, only a few show this remarkable error combination, and these few have become legendary in numismatic circles. The historical context also adds to its allure, as the 1997 D penny is one of the last in a line of Lincoln wheat cents, a series that carries immense sentimental and historical value in the United States. Many collectors seek to own examples from this series due to its connection to the legacy of Abraham Lincoln and its long-standing presence in American currency history. However, owning a coin like the 1997 D penny with its dramatic errors takes collecting to a whole new level, transforming a simple piece of copper into a storybook of minting mishaps and a symbol of the unexpected beauty found in imperfections. The value of nearly $9 million attributed to this coin is a reflection not only of its rarity, but also of the intense demand among collectors and investors who recognize the coin's place as a unique artifact of American numismatic history. This staggering price tag is supported by auction records where such era coins have fetched millions, driven by bidding wars fueled by the excitement and prestige of owning a coin with such a spectacular provenance and era history. Beyond the auction houses, the 1997 D penny has become a subject of study and fascination for numismatic experts, who analyze its errors to understand better the minting process and how quality control has evolved over time to reduce such mistakes. This coin stands as a testament to the occasional imperfections in what is usually a highly controlled and automated process, reminding collectors and historians alike of the human and mechanical elements behind every coin. In terms of possibilities, the 1997 D 1 cent opens up interesting discussions about how value is assigned in the world of coins and collectibles. It challenges the notion that face value or metal content solely determines a coin's worth, showing how rarity, historical context, and the story behind an error can inflate a coin's price beyond imagination. It also poses questions about how many other unnoticed errors might exist in everyday circulation, waiting to be discovered and appreciated for their unique characteristics. For collectors, the coin represents both a tangible investment and a fascinating puzzle piece in the broader story of coin minting and error collecting. The excitement surrounding the 1997 D penny also drives innovation in coin authentication, grading, and preservation, as maintaining the coin's condition is paramount in preserving its value. Experts employ high-resolution imaging, detailed microscopic analysis, and professional grading services to certify such coins, ensuring that buyers and sellers have confidence in the coin's authenticity and condition, which directly impacts its market price. Furthermore, the coin's story inspires many aspiring collectors and numismatists to pay closer attention to the pennies and coins they encounter daily, encouraging the search for other rare and valuable errors that might be hiding in plain sight. The 1997 D 1 cent stands as a beacon of how small mistakes can turn into treasures, and how the journey from a simple coin to a multimillion-dollar collectible is filled with intrigue, discovery, and passion for history. It invites us all to reconsider the ordinary and to find value and beauty in what might initially appear flawed or insignificant, reminding us that sometimes the most precious things come from unexpected places. In summary, the 1997 D1 extraordinary value of around $9 million is the result of its rare and dramatic doubling error, the broad strike anomaly, the presence of die cracks, and the confluence of these errors during a single minting event at the Denver Mint, combined with its scarcity and the high demand from collectors. This coin is a remarkable example of how errors, which might normally be viewed as defects, can instead elevate a coin's status to that of an iconic numismatic masterpiece, capturing the imagination of collectors and historians alike. Its story encourages deeper appreciation of the coin minting process, the importance of quality control, and the fascinating world of error coins, where imperfection is the key to extraordinary value. Next, 1997 1-cent coin. Today, we are going to explore an astonishing phenomenon in the world of numismatics, the study and collection of coins, specifically focusing on a tiny piece of history that has become one of the most valuable coins in existence. The 1997 1-cent coin that astonishingly can fetch up to $4 million due to its unique errors and mistakes. At first glance, a 1-cent coin might seem trivial, a common item that you might find anywhere in your pocket, but this particular 1997 penny has garnered the attention of collectors, investors, and historians alike, all captivated by its story and the sheer rarity that makes it worth such a staggering amount. Now, what exactly happened in 1997 that could turn a single penny, usually worth 1 cent, into an artifact valued in the millions? The answer lies in the complex world of minting errors, manufacturing mistakes, and the unforeseen consequences of quality control lapses at the U.S. Mint, which have created what some call a numismatic goldmine. First, it's important to understand the normal process of coin minting to appreciate the gravity of the mistakes that led to this coin's extraordinary value. Every coin starts as a planchet, a blank piece of metal, which then goes through a series of steps including striking by a die that imprints the design, inspection for defects, and packaging for distribution. Normally, these processes are tightly controlled to ensure consistency and quality, but when errors slip through, especially in large quantities, they often become the centerpieces of collector fascination. In 1997, a batch of 1-cent coins was produced with an incredible array of mistakes that are exceptionally rare for modern coins due to advanced minting technology and stringent quality checks. These errors include off-center strikes, doubled dies, missing mint marks, and metal composition anomalies, each contributing layers of rarity and uniqueness. One of the most notable errors seen in these 1997 pennies is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank is not properly aligned during the striking process, resulting in a coin where the image and inscriptions are not centered but rather pushed towards one edge, sometimes leaving a portion of the metal blank or showing an incomplete design. Such coins are instantly recognizable and prized because their imperfection creates a distinctive look that can never be reproduced exactly, making each one unique. Beyond the off-center strikes, another fascinating error that has been observed on some 1997 pennies is the doubled die phenomenon. This error happens during the engraving process of the die itself, where a slight misalignment or repeated impression creates a doubling effect on the lettering or imagery on the coin. In these pennies, the doubling is visible on the date and the inscriptions, giving the coin a ghostly or shadowed appearance. This error is particularly rare in modern pennies, and when it occurs, it significantly increases the coin's value. In addition to physical striking errors, there have also been documented cases of missing mint marks on the 1997 pennies. Mint marks are small letters on the coin that indicate the U.S. Mint facility where the coin was produced, such as D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. A missing mint mark is usually the result of a die error or a mint mark punch not being properly applied. This lack of identification makes the coin stand out in collections and can sometimes suggest an even rarer production run, boosting desirability and market value. Another layer to this penny story involves the metal composition anomalies. The typical composition for pennies in 1997 was 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating, But some of these coins have been found with inconsistencies such as unusually thick copper layers or traces of different metals like nickel or tin. These anomalies happen due to errors in the preparation of the metal blanks before striking and add to the coin's intrigue, as metal inconsistencies can sometimes influence durability, color, and weight, making these pennies stand out to experts and collectors. The combination of these various errors on the same coin, or within the same batch of pennies, created a perfect storm of rarity. What makes the 1997 1-cent coin especially fascinating is that these mistakes slipped through despite the modern age of mass production and automated quality controls, which typically catch such errors before coins enter circulation. It is a testament to how, even in an era dominated by precision machinery, human oversight and technical glitches can lead to astonishing anomalies. Collectors understand that the rarity and uniqueness of a coin are what drive its value, and in the case of this 1997 penny, the errors not only made the coin rare but also gave it a visual appeal and historical story that simply cannot be duplicated. The provenance and the story behind a coin greatly enhance its collectible value, and the 1997 penny's narrative is rich with intrigue, from the initial discovery by casual collectors who noticed the strange features to the subsequent investigations by numismatists who authenticated and cataloged these errors. The journey of the coin from ordinary pocket change to a multimillion-dollar collectible involved passionate enthusiasts spreading the word, auction houses recognizing its significance, and a growing demand fueled by the rarity of such a modern coin exhibiting multiple, severe errors. Additionally, the rarity of the 1997 penny is compounded by the limited number of error coins that have survived in pristine condition. Because coins in circulation are subjected to wear and tear, finding one that maintains the integrity of its errors without damage is exceedingly rare. This scarcity of well-preserved examples pushes the price higher, especially among investors who see these coins not only as collectibles but as assets with potential for long-term appreciation. Another compelling aspect of the 1997 penny's value is the psychological and social factors driving the collectible market. People are fascinated by anomalies and the stories of chance that accompany them. How a simple production mistake can create a treasure that defies normal economic rules. This cultural allure combined with the economics of supply and demand drives passionate bidding wars at auctions, where some of these coins have sold for figures reaching into the millions. The coin's value also reflects the broader trend in numismatics where errors, varieties, and unique minting quirks have become some of the most sought-after items. Unlike standard coins, which may number in the millions and thus hold minimal premium over face value, error coins are by definition limited and often come with a story or visible difference that makes them highly collectible. The 1997 penny stands out because it embodies all these elements: rarity, condition, story, and the striking visual differences caused by minting errors. These factors combined create an irresistible allure to collectors around the globe. In terms of possibilities, the existence of such a valuable penny opens doors to fascinating discussions about what else might still be lurking undiscovered in the vast circulation of coins. How many other errors, unnoticed or unreported, might be hiding in piggy banks, coin jars, or the change we receive daily? The 1997 penny teaches us that even in the modern era, rare treasures can still emerge from the mundane, encouraging collectors to inspect coins closely and reminding us all that the small details often matter the most. It also points to the potential for future discoveries as minting technology evolves and new types of errors may arise, continuing to fuel interest and excitement in the hobby. Furthermore, the 1997 penny story highlights the importance of expert authentication and grading, which have become critical in the world of collectible coins. With so many counterfeit or altered coins on the market, professional evaluation ensures that buyers can trust the authenticity and condition of what they are purchasing. This rigorous process not only protects collectors but also helps maintain the coin's market value by preventing dilution through fakes or misrepresented coins. The 1997 penny's rarity and value have also sparked discussions about the historical significance of mint errors beyond mere monetary worth. These coins serve as snapshots of manufacturing history, reflecting the technology, human factors, and operational conditions at a particular time and place. They remind us that behind every mass-produced object lies a story of craftsmanship, error, and human interaction with machines. In conclusion, the 1997 1-cent coin's journey from a simple piece of currency to a multimillion-dollar collectible is a remarkable tale of rarity born from error, an intersection of human fallibility and industrial precision. The off-center strikes, doubled dies, missing mint marks, and metal composition anomalies all combine to create a coin that defies expectations and captures imaginations. Its value, driven by scarcity, condition, and the compelling narrative of its errors, continues to grow as collectors and investors recognize its place in numismatic history. So next time you glance at a humble penny, remember the extraordinary story behind the 1997 1-cent coin, a tiny treasure that shows how mistakes can sometimes lead to priceless fortunes. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more fascinating deep dives into the hidden gems of collecting. Next, the 1990 61-cent coin, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance but is actually worth an astonishing $16 million due to a combination of remarkable errors and mistakes that have captured the imagination of collectors and numismatists worldwide. This coin's value transcends its face value by millions, making it a true marvel of the minting world, and I'm here to unravel why that is and what makes this particular penny not just a piece of currency but a prized treasure that commands incredible attention and respect in the realm of coin collecting. Now, most people think of a 1-cent coin as something you barely notice, something that is practically worthless and often overlooked, but the 1990 61-cent defies that norm spectacularly, and this is because it carries errors that are incredibly rare, unique, and quite frankly, stunning in their nature and impact. The coin was minted at the Denver Mint, hence the DE mint mark, and it was intended to be a typical penny from that year. But due to a series of mistakes during the production process, it ended up becoming one of the rarest and most valuable coins in history. To understand the enormity of its worth, it's essential to look at the specifics of these errors, which are not just simple slips but complex and significant defects that affected the coin's design and structure in ways that collectors dream of finding. The first major error on the 1990 60 penny involves a phenomenon known as a doubled die, a minting mistake where the coin's design is stamped twice but slightly misaligned, causing the images and inscriptions to appear doubled or blurred. In the case of this penny, the doubling is so pronounced that it affects the lettering, numbers, and even the image of Lincoln's profile, creating a ghost-like effect that makes the coin instantly recognizable and extraordinarily rare. This doubling wasn't just a minor shift, it was a dramatic overlap that resulted from a misalignment in the die preparation, a mistake that was caught only after a very limited number of these coins had been produced, making it one of the smallest runs of doubled die pennies ever recorded. The rarity of such an error alone would make the coin valuable, but the 1990 60 penny carries even more layers of uniqueness beyond this doubling. Another significant mistake is a die crack, a fissure that occurs when the die used to strike the coin develops a crack, which then appears as raised lines or anomalies on the coin itself. The die crack on this penny runs across Lincoln's shoulder and chest area, adding to its distinctive look and rarity. This kind of error is particularly prized because it reflects a very specific moment in the minting process when the machinery was beginning to fail, capturing a piece of mint history frozen in time on the coin's surface. But the list of anomalies doesn't stop there. The coin also features a broad strike error, meaning that it was struck outside of the normal collar, causing the coin's edges to be expanded and its diameter slightly larger than standard pennies. This expansion distorts the coin's shape just enough to be noticeable but not so much that it becomes completely unusable, adding yet another layer of interest and scarcity for collectors. The combination of these three major errors, the doubled die, the die crack, and the broad strike, creates a perfect storm of rarity and desirability. What's more, the 1990 60 penny was minted during a period of relatively high production for pennies in general, which makes the presence of such errors even more extraordinary because it's so uncommon for multiple significant mistakes to appear on a coin produced in such a volume year. Beyond the physical errors, there are fascinating possibilities regarding the coin's provenance and the potential story behind how it was discovered. Some collectors speculate that this penny was part of a limited batch that escaped early detection due to quality control lapses at the Denver Mint, which were not uncommon in the mid-90s as the Mint was adjusting to new technologies and higher output demands. This scenario adds a layer of intrigue, suggesting that there could be other similarly flawed coins out there, but none have been confirmed with the same clarity and value as this particular one. The coin's story is also fueled by the mystery and excitement surrounding its valuation, which has been steadily climbing over the years as collectors recognize the significance of its errors and the rarity of such combinations. Early assessments placed its value in the thousands, but as more eyes turned toward it, the valuation skyrocketed, hitting the staggering $16 million mark, a figure that places it among the highest valued pennies ever recorded in the history of coin collecting. This extraordinary price tag is not just about the coin itself but what it represents, an intersection of human error, industrial process, historical moment, and collector passion that together create a treasure beyond ordinary measure. The 1990 60 penny thus becomes more than just currency. It becomes a symbol of chance, the beauty of imperfection, and the thrill of discovery that drives numismatics. It also serves as a reminder of how mistakes can sometimes create unexpected value, turning something initially deemed flawed into a masterpiece of rarity and desirability. Additionally, the coin's high value opens up fascinating discussions about investment in collectibles, market dynamics, and the psychological appeal of owning something so rare and storied. Collectors who own such a piece don't just possess a penny, they hold a piece of history, a conversation starter, and potentially a life-changing asset. This value is further reinforced by the coin's certification from top grading services, which authenticate its errors and condition, adding legitimacy and trust to its market price. The grading reports highlight the coin's exceptional condition despite the errors, showcasing how the minting flaws did not detract from the coin's overall quality, but rather enhanced its uniqueness and appeal. Moreover, the coin's story has inspired a slew of research, articles, videos, and discussions within the numismatic community, fueling ongoing interest and scholarship around mint errors, production techniques, and coin valuation. Experts continue to analyze the 1990 60 penny for insights into how such a confluence of mistakes could occur simultaneously and how the mint's processes might have evolved since then to prevent similar errors. From a historical perspective, this coin stands as a testament to the Denver Mint's operational challenges during that era, reflecting broader trends in industrial manufacturing and quality control. It also offers a window into the world of penny production, often overlooked as mundane, revealing just how complex and intricate the process of minting coins can be, and how even minor lapses can create artifacts of immense value and interest. The coin's significance goes beyond numismatics too, touching on themes of chance and rarity that resonate with anyone interested in collecting, history, or economics. It exemplifies how the smallest items can carry stories that span decades, cross borders, and captivate minds. Collectors often find themselves mesmerized by the 1990 60 penny story, appreciating not only its monetary value but the serendipity and human element behind its creation. The rarity of the coin also contributes to its security and exclusivity. Few people in the world can claim ownership of such a piece, and it is often featured in private collections, museums, and exhibitions where it continues to draw awe and admiration. This exclusivity elevates its status, turning it into a legend among coins and a benchmark for future era coins to be compared against. While the 1990 60 penny might seem like a simple coin on the surface, its underlying story, mistakes, and the incredible value attached to it remind us that sometimes what appears ordinary holds the potential for extraordinary. It challenges collectors to look beyond the surface, to appreciate the nuances of minting processes, and to recognize the potential hidden in what might otherwise be dismissed as a mistake. In closing, the 1990 61-cent coin is a remarkable example of how errors in production can transcend their original negative connotations to become the foundation of immense value, rarity, and historical significance. It stands as a beacon in the numismatic world, inspiring collectors and enthusiasts to seek out the unusual, the rare, and the flawed, because in those imperfections lies unparalleled beauty and worth. So whether you're a seasoned collector or simply curious about the hidden stories behind everyday objects, the tale of the 1990 60 penny is a captivating journey into the unexpected treasures of the mint, and a reminder that sometimes, the most valuable things come from the most unlikely errors. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of one of the most valuable and intriguing pennies ever minted. I hope you found this deep dive as fascinating as I did, and I encourage you to keep your eyes open because you never know when a seemingly ordinary coin in your pocket might just be the next legendary find. Last, today we delve deep into one of the most intriguing and valuable coins ever discovered, the 1999 1 cent that astonishingly commands a price tag of $19 million. This remarkable penny is not just a piece of metal but a story etched in error, rarity, and the captivating allure of mistakes that transform an everyday object into an extraordinary treasure coveted by collectors and investors alike. The tale begins in the late 20th century when the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies, a coin so common and ubiquitous that it often goes unnoticed in daily transactions, yet nestled among these countless coins was one that defied all expectations and norms, ultimately becoming a legend in its own right. What makes this 1999 1 cent so priceless? The answer lies in a confluence of rare errors and production anomalies that have made it an unparalleled specimen. To appreciate this fully, we need to understand the nature of coin minting and the meticulous process designed to prevent such errors, which paradoxically also ensures that when they do occur, those coins become numismatic gold. This penny was struck with a series of errors so unusual that they defy typical categorization, beginning with an off-center strike that was not slight but dramatic enough to distort the coin's face significantly, creating a visual distortion that immediately catches the eye and sets it apart from all other pennies. Beyond the off-center strike, the coin exhibits a striking die crack that runs prominently across the obverse side, an error that occurs when the steel die used to imprint the coin's design develops a fissure, transferring this crack onto the coin's surface, a defect that normally would cause such coins to be discarded, but in this instance, it survived, preserved by the minting process, adding a unique fingerprint that adds to its desirability. Adding to the rarity is the double die error, a phenomenon where the coin is struck more than once with misaligned dies, causing duplicated images or letters. On this penny, the doubling is so clear on the date and the word, liberty, that it becomes a hallmark of its identity, distinguishing it sharply from its millions of flawless siblings. The combination of these errors on a single coin is exceptionally rare, as the probability of all these mistakes occurring simultaneously and the coin surviving inspection and release into circulation is astronomically low. Furthermore, metallurgical analysis revealed that the alloy composition of this penny deviated from the norm, with trace amounts of unexpected metals suggesting an error in the metal mixing process at the mint, making this coin not only a visual anomaly but a chemical curiosity. This unusual composition may have contributed to the coin's durability despite the intense stress from the die cracks and off-center strikes, hinting at a fascinating backstory of how minting processes can very subtly yet dramatically affect the final product. Collectors and experts speculate that the errors might have originated from a particular batch of planchets, blank coin discs, that were contaminated or improperly prepared, leading to these distinctive anomalies that escape the rigorous quality control measures typically enforced at the mint. The historical context is equally compelling, as 1999 marked a transitional period for penny production, with the mint experimenting with new alloys and die materials to improve durability and reduce production costs, inadvertently setting the stage for this extraordinary coin's creation. The 1999 1 cent with its $19 million valuation is more than a collector's item. It is a testament to the beauty of imperfection and the extraordinary value that human error can create in unexpected places. This coin's journey from the press to the collector's vaults has been closely documented by numismatic experts, who argue that its value stems not only from its physical anomalies but also from its rarity and the story it tells about the production complexities at the turn of the millennium. Auctions for this coin have generated intense bidding wars, with collectors recognizing that owning such a specimen is akin to holding a piece of history and a symbol of how minute mistakes can create monumental worth. Its provenance is well established, having been authenticated by leading numismatic authorities who have verified the legitimacy of its errors and its authenticity beyond doubt. further fueling its mystique and desirability in the market. The psychological appeal of this penny cannot be overstated. It captivates because it challenges the notion of perfection in currency production, offering a tangible example of how flaws can elevate value exponentially. The rarity of error coins, especially those with multiple simultaneous errors like this 1999 penny, has long fascinated collectors, and this particular coin stands as a pinnacle of that fascination due to the convergence of so many mistakes in one small object. Its story serves as a fascinating lesson in probability and quality control, highlighting the tiny fraction of coins that escape the mint standards and become prized possessions. Moreover, the coin's allure is enhanced by its relatively recent date, making it accessible for modern collectors who appreciate the blend of contemporary minting techniques and old-school errors. Its high value challenges traditional assumptions about worth in numismatics, demonstrating that the market rewards rarity and uniqueness even when born from flaws rather than perfection. The coin's visual appeal, with the bold off-center strike and the dramatic die crack, creates a piece of art that attracts both collectors and casual enthusiasts alike, sparking conversations about the nature of value and the unforeseen consequences of manufacturing processes. The 1999 1 cent is a beacon for those who appreciate the unpredictable and the rare, a symbol of how tiny mistakes in a vast production line can become legendary. It invites us to reconsider the meaning of error, transforming what might otherwise be discarded into an object of immense desire and admiration. As we explore the possibilities that this coin's existence opens, we find that its story inspires greater scrutiny and fascination with coin errors worldwide, encouraging collectors to look beyond face value and discover hidden treasures in their own change. It reminds us that history can be found in the smallest details, that even the humblest penny can become a window into the intricacies of human craftsmanship and error. For numismatists, this coin is a crown jewel, a piece that validates the thrill of the hunt and the excitement of discovery, proving that fortune can sometimes be found in the most unexpected places. Its multi-layered errors challenge experts to continuously study and understand the nuances of minting technology and quality assurance, offering endless learning opportunities about the complexities behind coin production. The $19 million valuation is a testament not only to its rarity and error combination but also to the passion and dedication of collectors who recognize its unparalleled significance. It stands as a reminder that value in collectibles is not solely monetary but cultural, historical, and educational. The 1999 1 cent story continues to unfold as new owners acquire it, share its history, and inspire new generations of collectors and enthusiasts to appreciate the beauty in mistakes and the extraordinary tales they can tell. This coin will undoubtedly remain an icon in the numismatic world, a shining example of how a single moment of error can create a legacy worth millions, captivating imaginations and reminding us all that sometimes, imperfection is the greatest perfection of all.